Diamond B Sports presents from the National Hot Rod Association, Championship Drag Racing. The 1986 Gatornationals from Gainesville, Florida. Speeds in excess of 265 miles an hour, covering the quarter-mile distance in less than 6 seconds. Drag racing from the NHRA. The awesome presentation that is the Top Fuel Dragster. The development of the modern-day Top Fuel Dragster can be traced to this spot, a garage in Tampa, Florida, the year 1956. Out of those humble beginnings came a car called Swamp Rat 1, the first dragster ever to run 170 miles an hour. Thus, the legend began. A little work over the winter, the same car and driver promptly became the first over 180 miles an hour. In 1970, an exploding transmission in an unlucky Swamp Rat number 13 resulted in serious injuries to the driver and a stay in the hospital that produced a concept for a new car that changed the face of Top Fuel racing forever. The new machine, number 14, now with the engine behind the driver, offering unparalleled visibility and safety, debuted at the 1971 NHRA Winter Nationals in Pomona, California. It went on to win that event. The scene now shifts to 1975 and Swamp Rat 22. After nearly 20 years in the sport, the driver car builder still collecting first, this time the first over 250 miles an hour. Today, it's little wonder they call this man, Don Garlett's Big Daddy. Hello, everybody. I'm Dave McClelland, and welcome to the 17th annual running of the NHRA Gatornationals. Held at Gainesville Raceway, located in the north-central part of the state of Florida, this super-fast facility is considered the home track of Don Garlett's. Thousands of his fellow Floridians have jammed into the sprawling pit area and the grandstands to see if Big Daddy can win his 4th Top Fuel Gatornationals title. You can be sure that these thousands of fans are going to be cheering for Garlett's to add to his already illustrious career. For more on that story, let's go to Steve Evans.
I couldn't agree more, Dave. In many ways, Don Garlett's is drag racing. And it all began back in 1957 with this car, Swamp Rat 1. 37 Chevrolet frame rails, a Model A brake handle. Pretty crude by today's standards, even a little bit crude by 57 standards. But it was the first car to ever go 180 miles an hour. But here at the Gatornationals this weekend, Don Garlett's is debuting Swamp Rat 30. Already the press is calling it a streamliner, and in many ways it is. It's a conventional Top Fuel dragster with two distinct advantages. The front end, number one, and the most noticeable. Garlett says with that shape, he's going to punch a hole in the wind and drive right through it. And it's made possible by little bitty 13-inch front wheels that he had specially made, and they don't even have a tire on them. It's like a V-belt off an industrial air compressor with some liquid rubber painted on so it has enough traction to steer. And that whole nose piece only weighs 4 pounds, made out of carbon fiber. The other most noticeable aspect, obviously, is this, an enclosed canopy. Don says it's so quiet in there, it's almost eerie. Now, this is not his first experiment with streamlining. Back in about 1972, he had the famous Jocko streamliner. He only made one run at it himself, and it tried to fly at about 160, and he said, nah, let's get rid of this thing and worry more about making horsepower. Well, now they're making all the horsepower that they feel they can. If you're going to go 270, if you're going to go 280, this is what it's going to take. And after that long, long line of Swamp Rat automobiles, wife Pat took a look at this and she said, only one thing we got to call it, rat under glass.
Don Garlett's, at the age of 54, is attempting to win his 30th national event title with his 30th car in the series of dragsters that dates back 3 decades. In the first round of competition, Garlett's raced another innovator, Dave Miller of Itasca, Illinois. Miller's car has a much shorter wheelbase than the more conventional race cars that make up the bulk of the field. Garlett's, with the protection of the fully enclosed canopy over the driving compartment, has already used the new aerodynamics to set the track record at over 268 miles an hour during qualifying. At the flash of the green light, Garlett's immediately moved out to a big lead as Miller got close to the guardrail. Garlett's, with a great elapsed time, still far short of the coveted 270-mile-an-hour mark.
5:44.
My goodness. Okay.
Everything feel good on the car down the racetrack?
Yeah, just it backfired. Dropped a valve, I guess, in the lights or something.
Okay, so Don Garlett's has some work to do before round number 2.
Garlitz and his crew chief Herb Parks head back to the pit area to prepare the Swamp Rat for the second round. Another dramatic story developed in the first round. Three-time world champion Shirley Muldowney qualified number 11 and had to race the former National Football League star quarterback Dan Pastorini. Now a full-time professional drag racer, Pastorini stunned the field by qualifying third. Shirley returned to racing just a month and a half ago at the Winter Nationals, where she lost in a first-round confrontation with Don Garlitz. Today, she faced the newest driver in the Top Fuel ranks, Dan Pastorini. It was a great start. Anybody's race until the finish line, where the upset of the day occurred as Pastorini just squeaked by Shirley to advance to the second round. Always the gentleman, Pastorini was quick to compliment the lady.
I love you. God bless you. Good race. You okay?
Good race.
Good race.
I was late. They're gonna chew me out.
You're a hell of a lady.
Thank you.
You want some help out?
Yeah.
Come on.
The 1986 NHRA Gatornationals is being brought to you by Motorcraft. Quality parts for cars and trucks. Motorcraft from Ford exceeds the need. And by makers of the Eagle, the high-performance radial engineered for cars with proper qualifications. And by Suzuki, makers of the 1986 Quad Runners, foremost in four-wheeling. Suzuki works like a single moving part. In the Don Garlitz pit area, work progressing on the controversial nose piece, which suffered considerable damage when the Kevlar belts were thrown off the wheels in that first round race. We'll be right back to Gainesville, Florida, and round 2 of the Top Fuel competition at the Gatornationals. Back at the Gatornationals at Gainesville Raceway, located near Gainesville, Florida, a bright, sunshiny afternoon as Dan Pastorini has gotten the break of a lifetime. On the racetrack at the moment, the former NFL quarterback is unopposed. His competition was to have been Chris Karamessini's. In winning his first-round race over Bill Mullins, Karamessini's car suffered severe engine damage. A blackened crankshaft has put him out of competition for the rest of the day, thus giving the bye run to Dan Pastorini. Earlier, Steve asked Pastorini to compare professional drag racing to pro football.
Well, I think it's just, you know, the willingness to work. You have to work in football just like you have to do in this business, and right now it's just Donnie and myself. And we work very well together. I'm fortunate that I've got good people working with me and helping me out. This industry is a tremendous industry. The NHRA has helped us a bunch. All of our sponsors that are on the car have helped us tremendously, and I'm very appreciative of that fact.
Which is harder work, football or drag racing?
Drag racing.
Which is more fun?
Drag racing.
2 for 2.
That's right.
Dan Pastorini, the former NFL quarterback, and he is just making a checkout run. He shuts it off early, the car coasting through the quarter mile. Dan was referring to his crew chief, Donnie Couch, who does such a capable job of preparing this number 3 qualifier. Our next race, the engines lit on the starting line. The former national champion, the former world champion, Gary Beck. Driving for car owner Larry Miner, Beck is opposed by Connie Coletta. This is a rematch of the final round of Top Fuel Eliminator in 1983. Gary Beck won that matchup. Earlier today, Connie Coletta in round number 1 defeated Gary Ormsby, while Gary Beck defeated Hank Idris. Beck's most recent national event victory came at the close of last season at the World Finals. Beck is in the far lane, number 2 in the world last season. Connie Coletta in the lane nearest our cameras. They're off the starting line together, and it appears Coletta has a lead. A close race at the finish, and Beck wins it by half a car length. Gary Beck with a 5.63 second elapsed time at 257 miles an hour used a starting line advantage. As we watch again in slow motion, the whole shot, or the advantage off the starting line, goes to the car in the far lane. That's Gary Beck. Coletta has some power, though. He pulls right up alongside, but at the finish line, it's Gary Beck just nosing out Coletta. 5.63 the elapsed time for Beck. For Coletta, 5.60. The whole shot pays.
Gary Beck, nice driving. You beat Connie Coletta with a whole shot.
Terrific. We needed it. I know he's been running real good, and our car's a little inconsistent, so we have to go for it.
You ran very well in the left lane, which some said was maybe subpar.
Well, yes and no, but it's, you know, it was all right. I didn't hear the ET yet, but it's you know, it held on good.
563.
Well, it's a little slower than last time, but it was all right.
Gary Beck goes into the semis.
Beck and his crew head back to the pit area to get their car prepared for the next round of racing. On the starting line, it is a race between the two fastest cars in the world. Here is Don Garland. He has established a track record at over 268 miles an hour with the newest streamlined version of the Swamp Rat. In the far lane is Joe Amato. He established the official NHRA national record at over 269 miles an hour at the recently completed Winter Nationals, thus pairing together the two fastest cars in the world. Garlitz is concerned about the front wheel and tire combination. Not really a tire, it is a Kevlar belt that is wrapped around those 13-inch wheels. Those belts have come off the wheels on every run thus far at the Gator Nationals. Joe Amato, running a traditional top fuel dragster, defeated Gene Snow in the first round of competition. It was 1 year ago at this event that Joe Amato debuted the tall wing and thus became the first man ever over 260 miles an hour. He did it on this racetrack. Now the question is, can either driver run 270? A brilliant start for Don Garland. Easily outdistancing Joe Amato. Garland with a great elapsed time, 5.46 seconds. His speed, though, only 246 miles an hour. The concern for those front wheels beginning to show. Here's Darrell Gwynn. He won the Winter Nationals. He's 24 years old and one of the rising stars of top fuel racing. Against him will be the man that won the Gator Nationals 1 year ago, Dick LaHaye. His crew chief is his daughter, Kim LaHaye, running out in front of the car to direct traffic for her dad. The burnouts used by all cars in competition, designed to heat up those monster slicks to provide the best traction possible for some 2,500 horsepower to get a hold of the pavement. LaHaye against Gwynn in round number 2. Meantime, down on the return road, Don Garlitz removing parts off of that damaged front nose piece. The Kevlar belt spinning off of the wheels once again. It may be that Garlitz has made the decision not to shoot for that 270 mile an hour mark because of the problems with the front wheels. Kim LaHaye pointing the direction that she wants her dad to back that dragster up into his own tracks, trying to get the rubber-to-rubber contact that is so important to let these cars launch off the starting line. In the first round of racing, Dick LaHaye, also driving a brand new car, defeated Earl Whiting, while Darrell Gwynn beat Jimmy King. Gwynn has had his share of problems this weekend, most of them coming during qualifying. Darrell Gwynn exploded one motor. He and his father, crew chief, replaced that one with the second motor. It also exploded into flames, thus causing them to put the third engine of the weekend between the frame rails of the dragster to make the final elimination. With each of these racing engines valued at some $25,000, you can see this has been a very expensive weekend for the Gwynn family. Dick LaHaye, on the other hand, even with a brand new car, has a relatively trouble-free record this weekend. In the first round, he ran 5.54 seconds at 254 miles an hour. Very competitive and certainly within striking distance of the leaders. Gwynn in the far lane. Dick LaHaye, the defending champion, in the near lane. Staging very carefully into those light beams that stretch across the starting line. The front wheels will roll into those light beams, lighting and activating a bulb on the top of the Christmas tree, telling the starter it's time to throw the switch. And at the flash of green, it is Dick LaHaye away. And LaHaye easily wins the race. 5.54 seconds, a duplicate of his first round time at 257 miles an hour. So that sets up our pairings in the semifinal. Dick LaHaye with the quicker elapsed time in round 2 has the lane choice over Gary Beck, while Don Garlitz has the lane choice over Dan Pastorini. Talk about Super Bowl competition. First, Pastorini has to race the three-time world champion, Shirley Muldowney. He wins that race. Now, in the semifinals, it is Pastorini against the reigning world champion and the winningest top fuel racer of all time, Don Garlitz. Dan's crew chief, Donnie Couch, must think his driver is facing the defensive line of the Chicago Bears. 17th annual NHRA Motorcraft Gatornationals, lots of attention is focused on Big Daddy Don Garlett's pit area. There's repair work going on to fix the damage to that fiberglass nose piece that was caused when the Kevlar belts spun off those 13-inch wheels in round number 2. The huge overflow crowd that's jammed into Gainesville Raceway